there's a lot of talk about Vince McMahon forming his own promotion. Do you think it would be successful, and would you be willing to go and work for him? So that's been the talk of wrestling recently, is that Vince is, he's sold out all of his TKO shares and WWE shares and what have you, and he's got an awful lot of capital built up. Theoretically, who's more qualified to start a wrestling company?
I don't know why he would. I mean, here's the thing. I will always be grateful to Vince. I mean, the biggest break in my career. I mean, the whole deal, the $1 Million Man, Learjets, limousines, all of that stuff. And then since then, it's like I was right at 40 years old when I physically got out of the ring. 30 years. I'm 70 years old now. And they're still making action figures and video games and all that stuff. I would have none of that if not for Vince.
Yep.
And the WWE. And so for that, I'll always be grateful. But, I've been reading some of the things that have been going on now. And it basically, it hurts, it's like, I never looked at Vince as like a hero, but I was always grateful, and I'll never stop being grateful. But if a lot of these things that I'm reading are true, then it just sickens me. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Awful.
Yeah. Just awful stuff. And, and again, 70 years old, going to start a new, I'm 70, that makes him 80. And he's going to start a new company. No, I'm not interested.
You wouldn't be in. So if he were to wind up doing it and he said, Ted, I'd love to have you as part of the team here. No interest.
No.
Hard to blame you. Especially...
I mean, not just because of what Vince is going through now, but if Vince weren't going through any of that and he sold his company and was going to start a new one, I'm 70 years old. Mm-hmm. You know what? I don't want to be. It's kind of like wrestling is. It's like it is your life. If you're in it, it's your life.
Yes.
And it's kind of like God bless my wife for sticking it out, sticking with me along the way, giving me a second chance when I had blown it and I had been unfaithful. I wrote a book about it. It's what really brought me to a genuine relationship with Christ. But my wife's willingness to stick it out because I was gone so much, then to forgive me and then believe in me to know that I was now a different man. And of course she could see that all the time. But no, I mean, it was like, I loved wrestling. I'm grateful, but I'm done. I'm done. I have no desire to get back in the mix like that, at any level.
And life is good for you right now. You get to still go out and have those interactions with fans on weekends whenever you go to a booking or a signing or whatever.
Yeah.
And so you still get to scratch that itch, but you're home, 6 days a week, man.
Yeah.
That's hard to beat.
Yeah.
Do you think that Vince is ultimately going to be erased from WWE history? Kind of like Chris Benoit was.
I would think it would be extremely hard to totally erase Vince McMahon from WWE history. I mean, it's his company. I mean, it's the company he built. Mm-hmm. How do you totally erase that? I mean, I know that Paul's in charge now, Triple H, and I think that's good. I think that's a good thing because Paul's a sharp guy. and he's got some fresh ideas. Then that I'm not so sure that Vince would have gone that way or not. It's just kind of like the difference is Paul has been a wrestler. Okay, Triple
Hmm.
H. He's been a wrestler. He's been in the ring. He's lived that part of Vince was never a wrestler. Vince's gift, in my opinion, is he is a tremendous marketer of his product.
Yes.
But he had a lot of help in terms of what they called agents and whatever who helped all the wrestlers during his years.
Yeah, and to your point, it's Vince McMahon not being part of WWE history when like WrestleMania wouldn't exist. Not, wrestling as we know it today would not exist without
Yeah,
Vince McMahon. But it's again the Chris Benoit treatment. You don't say his name on TV. Don't ever acknowledge him. Never reference even a classic like WrestleMania 20. He had a classic match. It's never referenced. And I could see them doing that with Vince, where they're just like, okay, yep, he's a big part of the history, but we're never saying his name on TV ever again. Like, he won't ever be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. Isn't that a really weird thought?
it is. Yeah, it is. It's sad. It really is. And uh, I think that when you say, I think that the business has been left in capable hands in terms of Triple H, there to run things. I mean, he was doing a dang good job down in Orlando at the training facility and to move him on up and to take the helm of the ship. I think it's a good choice. What saddens me is a lot of this stuff that's coming out now. That's it's almost like reading the National Enquirer and all this stuff. I mean, I tell you who my heart breaks for is like
Yes.
Stephanie and Shane. That's their dad. I mean, gosh, I don't know if I could ever handle hearing something like that about my dad.
Oh, it'd be awful. I mean, let alone his grandchildren who are still young, college aged, around, they're still at the age where like their buddies or people who don't know them are going to tease them about this kind of thing. And you have to hear this sort of awful stuff about your grandfather. Like,
Yeah,
man, here's a guy that you probably held on this pedestal. Like, he's the most
yeah,
important man in the history of this industry. That's my grandfather. And all of a sudden it's like, you probably don't even want to acknowledge that he's your grandfather.
yeah,
That's a tough spot.
yeah, very.